This will be a day long remembered. Now I am the master.
Welcome to another episode of Legends and Theories, and welcome to a video which joins many others that answers the question, what if the Fellowship took the Eagles to Mordor? And with it, because I know exactly how the story will go, I do not need to write a script for this, and it's going to be one of my simpler what ifs, which you'll be able to tell with the time. I'm going to do a few edits, so although I'm recording this Tuesday night, it may not be out until Thursday or Friday, but I'm pretty ahead on this week's video, so let's just go straight into this. In Rivendell, a group including Gandalf, Aragorn, and Elrond are trying to map out the best route for the Fellowship to go, and based on the reports taken by Aragorn and some of the others into the lands, Gandalf is considering going down south and passing through the Pass of Cadras. Looking at the map, Pippin notices that they can follow the same path that Bilbo took, and he mentions this to Gandalf, saying, Gandalf, why don't we go and take the High Pass? The Beornings are guarding it securely, am I correct? Yes, Gandalf said, but then we would have to travel past Mirkwood and Dol Guldur, and we cannot pass that fortress, for it is strong with Sauron's allies. But then Pippin continues to look at the map. But Gandalf, what if we go to the Eagles and they take us all the way to Mordor? Then we'll be able to sneak in and destroy the ring. Gandalf thinks. That could work, but we cannot let the Eagles know of what we are taking, since it seems that Sauron will have nothing that could match us with the Eagles, and we'll be able to reach Mount Doom quickly. Good idea, Pippin. Soon the Fellowship heads out and passes through the secure High Pass, crossing over it with almost no problems. They continue on and go to the Eagle's Eyrie, where they meet with Gwaihir, and Gwaihir agrees to take them to Mount Doom with no questions asked. The Eagles take off from there and head towards Mordor. Soon reaching the Black Gate, they begin to fly over, but they are quickly spotted by Sauron's forces, growing extremely suspicious and wondering why the Eagles would ever dare to come into his land. Sauron releases the Nazgul once again upon their winged fell beasts, who go and begin to attack the Eagles. The Eagles are barely able to get into a retreat, but as they turn around and try to fly back, thousands of orc archers are up upon the Black Gate, firing their arrows, shooting down the Eagles as the fell beasts go and attack the Eagles, killing almost all of them and leaving the rest wounded and left for dead. Many members of the Fellowship lay dead or dying, with Sam and Merry both being killed by arrows. And Boromir was crushed under an eagle. Aragorn, Legolas, and Gimli all managed to survive using their different skills. Gandalf is able to survive easily, and Frodo is only able to survive because of his mithril shirt, and Pippin does get lucky, although he is pinned under an eagle, and unlike Boromir, he still lives. And with this, they go and try to fight off the forces of Mordor, but they are continuing to be overrun. And at this moment, seeing everything is lost, Frodo tries to run with the One Ring, placing it on, but this alerts Sauron to his presence, and the Nazgul all rush towards Frodo, attacking him, and even though Gandalf, Aragorn, and Legolas are able to fend them off since Gimli has now died in combat. They are overrun, and we see how Frodo is taken by the Nazgul right before the throne of Sauron. Sauron himself goes to Frodo and cuts off his finger, removing the One Ring, and it's also brought the heir of Isildur, and looking upon him, Sauron has great plans to torment the would-be king of Gondor. Sauron places the ring upon his finger and begins to torment Aragorn, but throughout the lands of Middle-earth, both Elrond and Galadriel are alerted to this, but Gandalf, who now lays dying, also knows it, but there's nothing he can do, is now Sauron goes up to him and removes one of the elven rings from his finger. After that, Gandalf dies, but is not going to be sent back at least yet, since he has no way to stand up against Sauron with his forces and the One Ring. But Gandalf is going to speak to the higher powered Valar to lead an army like they did so many years ago against Morgoth, since Sauron will be able to go and conquer Middle-earth with no challenge to him. Gandalf is right. As the forces of Valinor prepare for war, Sauron goes on a destructive and brutal campaign, going and destroying the kingdom of Gondor, forcing Aragorn to watch as he burns down the White Tree once and for all and completely obliterates the city of Minas Tirith. And he continues on to Rohan, where Saruman has recently succeeded in taking over the kingdom and having Theoden controlled like a puppet by Grima Wormtongue. Saruman is now terrified that Sauron has the ring and bows before his master. But knowing of his betrayal, Sauron goes and kills Saruman and puts the Witch King in charge at Orthanc, leading armies from there. Continuing on, he goes on a brutal slaughter, continuing through the lands as attacks on different kingdoms like Erebor, the Woodland Realm, the cities of Dale, and so many other places, but the locations where the other two bearers of the Elven Rings were, Lothlorien and Rivendell, have already been evacuated, with some of them staying behind to fight, but many of the others have fled towards the west so they can escape the horrors that will be coming. And with this, there is no one who can defend against Sauron in the world, as he goes and conquers and his armies go and spread death and destruction. The horrors that Saruman was orchestrating from afar in the Shire get far worse as the entire Shire is destroyed and the trees are burned and the hobbits are made into slaves, which is the same that happens to many other countries in Middle-earth. And with this, Sauron is gloating with his power. As he reaches the Grey Havens, he leads another attack as he tries to take out any elves trying to flee to the west. But at this moment, the armies of Valinor come in, and with this, Sauron is shocked, thinking that the Valar have ignored the world and thought it was all going to be left up to the people after they went and defeated his master Morgoth. Sauron is terrified and he does try to retreat, but this doesn't matter as the hosts of the Valar go and decimate his forces, continuing on until they eventually reach Sauron. And with the Valar being even more powerful than him, Sauron stands no chance, even though his master did hold him up for a long time. They go and are able to take Sauron, and like Morgoth before him, he is cast out of the world. And with this, the people of Middle-earth are freed, although there's been much death and destruction. A few members of the Fellowship do still live, with Frodo being kept alive and tormented for keeping them One Ring from Sauron. A similar thing happens to Aragorn for him being tortured for all the things that his Númenórean ancestors have done to disrupt the plans of Sauron. Gandalf was returned as Gandalf the White to help lead the Valar's forces against Sauron. And finally, Pippin is still alive and looks at the horrors that his plan has caused. Bilbo is also still alive, who has already been taken to the Grey Havens and beyond when the elves were evacuating. And with this, and all the horrors done to Frodo, and with him being a ring bearer, he is taken also to Valinor with the fleet, although the rest are left behind, and Aragorn takes up a leadership role to help lead the rest of the men of Middle-earth, although he will not be as strong since he was tortured greatly by the hands of Sauron, although he at least has Arwen with him. But Gondor is in ruins, the same with the other kingdoms, and there's not much he could do to go and rebuild it, and it will take a long time for it to happen. The people of Middle-earth will eventually be able to get him to a better way, but one hobbit, feeling disgraced, walks alone, knowing that it was his dumb decision to take the eagles to Mordor that caused all of this to happen. So if you can't tell, it was a really bad idea to take the eagles to Mordor, and this is something that, at one a small point I was thinking, maybe, but once I, went and started to, actually look at Tolkien's works, and I realized pretty quickly this is a really bad idea, and this would end in complete disaster. So I went for a dark but hopeful ending, and I decided the person who had to make this decision had to be Pippin because I feel like if anyone was to make this decision, it would be Pippin, and I just had to make it just with that because I just knew this would have a really dark ending. Although I do agree with some other videos I've seen talk about this that the Valar probably would intervene, and with it, I just decided to have it be through Gandalf dying. And not really, I don't remember exactly how others did it, but I think that is the best way because I think I've seen the other ones having Gandalf being one of the last ones there and Aragorn dying. But I think it would be more interesting to have Sauron go and torture both him and Frodo, since he would want to revenge on the Line of Isildur for what they did to him in defeating him, and the ultimate hatred he had of the Númenóreans, which was shown in the Second Age when he went to go and destroy their realm. And with that, I think it was a really fun story to do. I had so much fun with this, and I went unscripted because I knew just how bad this had to get, and I felt like just writing it out wouldn't have made it as bad, but looking at it, I just wanted to go off my gut with some things I was just sort of thinking of in the back of my mind over the past few weeks. And I definitely think this story was one of my favorite what ifs to do because It's just taking something that so many people argue, and it's kind of, like a dumb thing to argue, and I went and just went into how bad things would go since they think, oh, taking the Eagles, they would automatically win, but no, they would definitely lose. And yeah, it was a really fun time I had making this video. Yeah, honestly, this is probably the most Lord of the Rings content I've done in a while. As you've just been the occasional video, but I just felt like doing this because I finished a bunch of Tolkien books over the past 2 or 3 weeks, and with it, I just felt like doing this to close it off, but also I want something positive, more positive with Lord of the Rings out there, and even though the story's dark, it's a fun story, and I'm just tired of seeing all these hate videos about Rings of Power trying to like fear monger and everything off of it because I'm just so tired of that. So I wanted something fun out there, and even though there are some great Tolkien YouTube channels that aren't doing this, I definitely enjoy them. I wanted to put this out because I just wanted to put into this more positive part of the Tolkien community where it's not just a bunch of hate being thrown out at Rings of Power, which I am going to be cautiously optimistic about. Although there is some things that could make it bad, I am going to wait for it to come out, and I will be doing reviews of it. And yeah, honestly, as I said, I'm so tired of hearing people going and hating this series. And whenever I just go onto like a random YouTube page looking for a video, I see like a dozen videos with like something Lord of the Rings of Power is failing this way or that way, or it's a joke or something, and I'm just so tired of seeing that. That's kind of the motivation I had for this, not only because I thought it was a fun story, but I wanted something that wasn't just a bunch of, hate and prejudgment of a series that has not been out yet. But yeah, let me know what you think of this story. And also, if you have something negative to say about Rings of Power, I'm fine with seeing it if you have doubts, but I'm just tired of all these hate titles that I see online, and I am totally fine with your opinion, but it just feels like so much hate that's being thrown towards this series before it's even been released. So yeah, just let me know what you think, and I'll see you all in the next episode of Legends and Theories. Thank you for watching this episode of Legends and Theories. Please subscribe, like the video, share the video, leave a comment, check out the video on screen, and may the Force be with you.